Good evening, and welcome along to the big show here on NVTV. And if you're watching this on the Wednesday night, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. We've got a great lineup once again, haven't we?
Coming up on the show, we will be talking to singer Annabelle. We'll be joined by Lisa Stanley, who will be telling us all about her mother, Maisie McDaniel, and why she's keeping her music alive.
Talking about music, we'll also have the new video from Brophys Law, and we'll be remembering one of the greatest TV sitcoms of all time. We're talking about The Vicar of Dibley. That was just such a great series, wasn't it?
You know what, Robin? I just love The Vicar of Dibley. You know, Geraldine, the best part was when Geraldine jumped in the puddle and she fell through the hole. Hilarious.
There's been so many great memories over the years. We'll be reliving some with the original producer of The Vicar of Dibley, Jon Plowman. He's going to be with us very shortly. Before all that, we're going to take a look back at some of the more quirky news stories of the week. And to help us do that, we're going to be joined by the brand new breakfast show presenter on Q Radio, Declan Wilson. Before we meet him, let's take a look at his first morning on Q Radio.
Q Radio Breakfast with Declan Wilson.
Yep, that is me. I am here. The 46 alarm clocks paid off, eh? Hello, my friend. Well, this is probably the most exciting day of my life so far. Q Radio Breakfast with Declan Wilson. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm honestly waiting on my alarm clock going off again and just me getting up, going downstairs for a coffee or something like that, you know? But this actually isn't a dream. It's happening. This was my dream and now it's reality, and that is mind-blowing for me. Let me start by saying hello. Welcome to your brand new Q Radio Breakfast show. And you know what? It's going to be fun. It's going to be an escape from any negativity. It's going to be positive. And it's going to cost the bosses a lot of money for what we've got planned in the future. Let me introduce you to my incredible co-host, by the way. Oh, curveball! You personally will know this person very, very well. It's you, the listener. You're my co-host and you are the best thing about this show. This is as much your breakfast show as it is mine, right? So we're going to laugh together, cry together, sing together, experience things together, and we're going to become besties every single morning when we wake up together. Not literally, of course, you wouldn't be that lucky.
So Northern Ireland has got a brand new breakfast host to wake us up every morning on Q Radio. It's Declan Wilson, and I'm pleased to say he joins us now on the line. Declan, how are you?
All good. Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it, guys. I love your cozy sort of fireplace set in the background there. It looks lovely.
Everybody says that, but it's great that you can lie on TV because it's actually fake. The things you can do with a YouTube screen behind you.
I was actually going to say, guys, there is one of those available on Netflix. Have you been streaming it on Netflix for like 6 hours? Far long for it, yeah.
That's exactly where we get it, Declan.
So Declan, congratulations on the new breakfast show. We've been tuned in, and it's great to tune in to a show that is a little bit different, something fresh and new for Northern Ireland.
Really appreciate it, guys. One challenge I thought it was going to be was doing the show on my own. We all know most breakfast shows are sort of double headers, but I'm sort of getting into it with a way I want to make the listener the co-host. It's all about bringing them in, welcoming them in, bit of cheer in the morning, bit of a laugh, and I get to play music as well. Some may call it bluffing a wage, nearly.
So taking you back to day number one, how many alarm clocks did you need to set for getting up?
Actually, this is really funny. Can I actually show you on the screen, if that's okay?
Yes.
So the alarm clocks start at 4 a.m. I don't know if you can see this, but...
We can, yeah.
Oh, brilliant!
And they go the whole way to... Now, the show starts at 6 a.m., but they go the whole way to 23:54, and don't ask me why.
So for any radio presenter, this is the dream gig, isn't it?
And definitely for me as well. Like, definitely for me, 100%. Try and sort of say breakfast is the... flagship show. To me, every radio show is important, but there's just a certain energy that comes with a breakfast show that I've always wanted to do. It's always been my goal. And I think it's just because I'm a hyper child inside, really. And I love having a bit of a laugh. I love high energy. And I love getting people involved. I just love having a bit of fun and a bit of mischief in the morning. I think everyone needs it, especially now with the past sort of year and a half we've had, you know.
You've had quite a bit of success already. You won the IMRO Best Newcomer Radio Presenter Award in 2019. What was that like?
My hat will be expanding here with the size of my head. Thank you very much. To be honest, like I sort of said, my radio journey's been relatively short so far, so I consider myself very lucky. Sort of blessed every day. I started radio in 2018, and a bit like everybody, you're in a full-time job and you're sort of afraid to take the plunge to go and follow the dream because you're giving up being paid. You know what it's like, Robin, sort of starting off, you have to do all the free shifts, you have to do all the sort of volunteering you could do at the start, but everything, it's sort of been a blur from 2018 to now. It's been, obviously, I started on Queen's University Radio in 2018, and I think it was my mum and dad listening. Because you could see how many listeners you had, and I think the peak was 45, and I was like, yes, 45 listeners. And then, don't ask me how, but Q Radio picked up the demo. I landed the Saturday gig. Yeah. Done the Saturday morning gig for about a year. Loved that show. Bounced up every Saturday morning. And which is weird because I'm a night owl, but come Saturday at 4 a.m, I was straight up because couldn't wait. And then, I got the gig in the afternoon, which was mind-blowing as well. It was about a year after the Saturday gig. And then the Emerald came about, and just by fluke, I just sort of went, you know what, see what happens, put it in. Yeah. There's some amazing broadcasters out there. I'll be lucky if I get even looked at, but that's just happened. And
do you think that's what's given you the energy, is the fact that you're so passionate and you're so excited to actually be doing what you love full time?
100%. I think one of the main things about radio nowadays is it's sort of like anything. If you love what you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life. I literally eat, sleep and breathe radio. Some may call me a bit of an anorak. Like I would go home at night. I would even be sitting in the house and I'd be either prepping for the show the next day or looking at videos on YouTube of my favourite presenters and watching different things. And that to me is fun. I know that sounds so sad, but that to me is fun. I would do that in my spare time because I literally love it. I eat, sleep and breathe it. And I think if you do, you enjoy your job so much more as well.
Now, I've got a clip to show now. Tell me first of all about Decky's Dares. What's all that about?
I had a feeling this was going to come up. We started a feature on the show every Tuesday. It's called Decky's Dares, as you know. My producer, Yaz, decided for the first show that she would take the lead on this and she would dare me to dress up on International Barbie Day as a Barbie doll, which I assume is probably the clip that you have playing.
I'm waiting just for the guys to push the button and play this.
Big massive red button. So she decided, yep, this will be great crack for International Barbie Day to dress you up in your sister's jammies. Shout out to my sister. Thanks very much for letting me your jammies. To go around and to try and pretend that the card broken down and could I ask someone for a push. And what you didn't see in the video was me approaching so many people, obviously whilst maintaining social distancing, etc., and being turned away or maybe bleeps needed to be added, etc. But yeah, it was crazy. So we'll do it every week, and next week we're going to hand it over to the listener. In future weeks, we're going to hand it over to the listener, and we're going to let them pick theirs for me. How they're going to top that, I don't know. What they're going to come back with, I'm scared, to be honest.
All right, we'll take a look at the video now. Nathan is standing by with his finger on the button. Push that button.
So as you can probably tell, we're here at Titanic Quarter, Belfast, the big crane behind me. Part of the Yaz's dare was to pretend that I've broken down in the queue car and to get a passerby to help me push the broken down car. So let's do it. Let's just get it over and done. Excuse me, sir. My car's broken down and Ken's self-isolating at the minute and I've nobody to help me. Would you mind giving me a push?
You serious?
Yes. Yes, please.
Come on.
Oh, thank you so much. I don't want to break a nail, you see. This is me here. Thank you. Oh, awfully cold. Thank you very much. You're a lovely young man. But my dog is so happy. Thank you very much. Get in there. Good boy. I must reward you. Do you take plastic? It's fantastic. There you go, there you go. Good man, thank you very much. When you're ready, give me a push. Here we go. Oh, look at the strong you are.
What a way to start a new feature on the show.
Brilliant.
What a nice way to introduce myself to Northern Ireland as the new man waking them up in the morning. I'm sorry, it's just, looking at that clip back, I'm still so flustered by it. I'm just
Oh, brilliant. Now, we've got you to do some of the more quirky news stories of the week for us. One of the stories I heard you talking about in the radio is this great story about the priest. Tell us about that.
I mean, amazing. I love sort of silly things on the internet. Like, if I find something like a funny sound clip, it has to be in the show. We'll have to talk about it. We need to get people involved. The priest, shout out to Father Pat in Donegal, who is a splendid professional, decided at the very start of Mass, it's the echo in the church, the ambience, and he sort of starts in the name of the Father and the Son, and then this rap song plays. It just drops out of nowhere, and with this London voice, like, "Hey yo, it's the Ripper," and all, the priest sort of goes, he goes, "Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing like a bit of rap to wake you up in the morning." So I just... I mean, everybody needs a Father Pat in their life. So, of course, on the show, I decided, you know what? Everyone does need a bit of rap to wake you up in the morning. So straight in with Tupac or straight in with Notorious B.I.G.
With the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Okay, it's Black the Ripper, Slash Samson, the Good Child on Productions. Check the freestyle, look.
Black the Ripper. Maybe a bit of rap in the morning, wakes you up. Anyway, still nice to see you all here on in Burton Port this morning. I hope that didn't do anybody's blood pressure any difficulty there.
Brilliant. Okay, let's move on to the next one of your stories. We've all heard about the big Friends reunion that's happening, but this is one for all really good fans of Friends, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Have you guys watched Friends? Are you Friends fans?
Oh, we are. We love it, yeah.
Yes, love it.
It's funny because my mum would, when I lived with my mum, she would have come into me and went, "Are you watching that silly programme again?" I could act in that and I've never even watched it. But I suppose Friends is a wee bit like Marmite, but there is a company willing to pay you to watch Friends. Now, my dream job as a breakfast show host may be changed to sitting on the sofa with a big tub of ice cream like Homer Simpson watching Friends and getting paid $1,000 for the privilege. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Oh, fabulous. I do it.
You've got to enter. You've got to enter.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll be entering, definitely.
You're nearly taking your mic off and going.
I'm really running.
Yeah, and that's not... also, they get a tour of Central Perk, the coffee house as well.
Oh, that would be so great. I'd love
Wouldn't it?
that.
Yeah.
You'd love it too.
I'd love it too, actually,
we
yeah.
We could actually play the parts. We'd go and do it. Now, who would I play? Would I play Rachel? I'd probably end up being quirky and doing, what's her name? Blondie.
Phoebe.
I'd end up doing Phoebe, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I smelly cat. Are they feeding you? Yeah, that's what I'd do.
All right, so there we go.
I'm going to have to get that clip to play on the show. That needs to go on the show.
Brilliant. Final story for now. We're talking about how our lives have changed during COVID, and because we're all wearing these masks now, this has inspired the next story, hasn't it?
It has indeed, yeah. Something I find quite difficult when I'm sort of talking to people, even people that I know, because one, they're standing 2 meters away, two, they've got a face mask on, and you don't know if they're smiling, if they are giving you the evils. So you have to sort of eye read in a way, like it's sort of, I'll do my best sort of. It's sort of like facial flirting, if you think of it that way. So, for example, if I was to flirt with your beautiful...
Oh, yes. Go on.
This is my best sort of eye flirting here, where I'll probably scare everybody getting very close to the camera, but...
creepy, that.
That is
It's quite creepy.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Please don't do that.
Nearly like Joey, how you doing? Yeah.
But here, let me try it then, because I might to show you what you looked like. Oh my gosh! Flirting is now null and void.
Oh, it seems to be, doesn't it? Yeah.
You have to try it sometime, guys. But if you're sitting in the house and you're trying a little flirty conversation with each other, wear a mask and see what you're sort of try and judge each other's reaction. You could be saying, "I love you dearly, darling," but you're really going to wash the flipping dishes, will you?
Oh yes, well my wash the dishes look would not be flirtatious.
No, definitely not. Right, sadly we're out of time. Declan, we could go on and do this all day. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, they can listen to you, Q Radio, Monday to Friday, 6 until 10.
Thanks, guys.
Heartbreak, mistakes, we've been through everything. I say your name, but you don't hear a thing. Your lips, my heart, they don't connect the same. No, no. I lost my mind over you, blamed myself for it. Gave you all of my love, all the things you didn't do. You left me standing, I'm better on my own. Now you say you want me. You can't go to sleep at night, 'cause I'm missing by your side. Now I think I'm ready for someone who can do me right, someone who can give me love, someone who can give me someone who can give me. I wanted more than you gave to me. I know my worth, only you can see. This time I'm right, we don't connect the same. No, no. I lost my mind over you, blamed myself for it. Gave you all of my love, all the things you didn't do. You left me standing, I'm better on my own. Now you say you want me. You can't go to sleep at night, 'cause I'm missing by your side. Now I think I'm ready for someone who can do me right, someone who can give me love, someone who can give me someone who can give me. I pick myself up 'cause I got it. I'm more than enough and I know it. I pick myself up 'cause I want it. I'm ready for someone who can give me love. Now you say you want me. You can't go to sleep at night, 'cause I'm missing by your side. Now I think I'm ready for someone who can do me right, someone who can give me love, someone who can give me someone who can give me love.
Great song, that's called Give Me Love. That's from Annabelle, and I'm pleased to say she joins us now on the line. Annabelle, how are you?
Hi, Annabelle.
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So that first single that you released that we just saw there, that picked up quite a bit of airplay, didn't it?
Yeah, like it was so good. It's been played in like Ireland, Northern Ireland. I've had a lot of support from radio. So yeah, it's done really well and people seem to really love it. So I'm just glad it's finally released.
Brilliant. So you've sprung onto the music scene. Talk us through your journey.
Well, like I've known that I've wanted to do music my whole life. Like I've always done it, and I think I've just always wanted to release my own music. I've obviously done covers and things like that, but now that I've actually released my own music and people have responded the way they have and loved it, I think it's just amazing. I'm just so glad that I've actually released my own stuff.
So at the minute, you've got a brand new single out at the minute as well, and this is all part of an EP, isn't it?
Yeah, so my deluxe EP comes out this Friday, actually. I've been working on that for ages, so glad that's coming out so soon. But yeah, All Night will be on that as well.
And what's the story behind All Night?
Well, it's just like most of my songs are about relationships, but this song's kind of like about when you finally find that one person that actually is nice to you and treats you right, and you've got to kiss a few frogs before you find your prince, so it's kind of about that, and just relationships in general. I kind of seem to write about mostly.
So you said there about finding the right one, and you've kissed a few frogs. I take it you have found the right one then?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've got a boyfriend now. We've been together for 2 years, so yeah, kind of about him, and yeah, really, really good. He treats me right, and I think that's what it should be like for a relationship,
Absolutely, good for you, because you're so young as well to feel like you found the right one. It took me many frogs before I found mine.
So what's life been like during COVID and during lockdown? Has it been difficult for a musician like yourself?
Yeah, I think for all musicians it's been really tough. Basically not being able to kind of do live gigs and things like that. Like I've not actually been able to do a live show of my own music yet. Which is hard, but yeah, I guess just kind of being on social media and things helps and things like that. But yeah, it's been tough for musicians, I think, and not being able to record songs and for a while. So yeah, it was tough.
So what's your aspirations then, Annabelle?
I think just keep releasing music, and hopefully people keep liking it. And yeah, that's just kind of my plan. That's what I want to be. Like I've always wanted to be an artist. It's all I've ever wanted to do. I want to share music, inspire other people, and yeah.
So once we get back to normal again and we're allowed live gigs, will you be out gigging again?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. As soon as we're allowed, I'll be like, yeah, live stage, 100%. So yeah, I can't wait for that, honestly. I'm sure so many musicians feel the same, but it's just, there's no better feeling,
Absolutely. It's been a tough time for everyone, I think. Yeah. For sure.
Definitely. So if anybody wants to follow you on social media and stuff, give us all your details.
So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, all those ones. But yeah, I think my handle for Instagram is Annabelle_Miller, and then everything else just kind of search Annabelle, and it should kind of come up,
Okay, we'll take a little look at the new single now, which is called All Night. But in the meantime, Annabelle, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thanks, Annabelle.
Thank you so much for having me.
Have you ever wondered why it is you stand out in the crowd? Stand out in the crowd. I can tell you're different underneath. Show me what you're about. I like what I found. Falling completely in when I leave in here. I know that we're moving too quickly. Take me there. Let them stop and stare. I know we ain't foolish. Oh, I don't need nobody, just need your body. Focus on me tonight. I can tell that you got me crawling 3 in the morning, so we're going all night. Oh, I don't need nobody, just need your body. Focus on me tonight. I can tell that you got me crawling 3 in the morning, so we're going all night.
Now, let's talk about the Vicar of Dibley.
One of the UK's best loved sitcoms that is still loved today and will probably go on to be loved by generations to come. Now, a one-off special called The Vicar of Dibley Inside Out has been shown on the Gold TV channel recently, where we relived some of the best moments from the show. Jon Plowman was the executive producer on that, and he was also the original producer of The Vicar of Dibley, and he joins us now on the line. Jon, how are you, sir?
Hi, Jon.
I'm fine, thank you, and it's a joy to talk to you, and it's a joy to remember all that fun we had doing Dibley.
So taking you back to the start, when you first started producing the show, did you know it was going to be so successful?
We knew we were making something pretty good, but we didn't know whether anybody would like it. In other words, Richard had just written 4 Weddings, and he let it be known that he wanted to write something about the idea of women being vicars, which was sort of it was controversial, I guess. And the reason he let people know, I think, was because he wanted other writers not to gazump him. So he wrote a script, which I still have somewhere, called The New Vicar, which, with lots and lots and lots of changes, eventually became episode 1.
So as well as the Vicar played by Don French, there was so many other great crazy characters in the show, and so many great actors got involved as well, didn't they?
To be fair, I think 4 Weddings helped us a lot. It meant that when we started casting it, we got to see actors you wouldn't normally see for a sitcom.
Yeah.
I mean, just people who are really good. And almost everybody, apart from the guy who got it in the end, found it difficult to say yes, no, apart from Trevor Peacock, who managed it. And Emma Chambers was the only person who walked in and sort of got Alice.
Yeah.
And played her as kind of a mixture of charm and not necessarily the brightest thing in the box, but nearly. Maybe she was a bit thick. But no, we were very lucky to get the cast we got. And it was a cast that got on from the very beginning.
So tell us about this one-off special on Gold. What can we expect from that?
Well, what you can expect is to see you can see the story of Dibley in a way. You can see some footage of backstage that has never been shown before. And that, I think, shows you partly how we worked. That during a rehearsal week, you get the actors on the set rehearsing, asking Richard questions, asking Paul Mayhew Archer, who was the co-writer, asking him questions, wondering if there are 12 more jokes they could fit in. And you get to see people being very nice about the show, including Jonah Lumley, who wanted to play Hugo's mum, although, if she ever appears in a future. Kylie Minogue, who was a guest on the show, is on the dock and was very, very happy to come along and talk to us. Hugh Bonneville, who was in the show, it talks to us. You get lots of people talking. You get even me talking. I apologize for that. You get a sense of how we made it, and you get a sense, I hope, of the warmth and the fun we had doing it. It was extraordinary doing it because from the start, it was, as it were, like we were back there.
Yeah.
We went back 20 years pretty quickly.
So what about your favourite Dibley moment? Have you got a favourite one, or are there too many to choose?
I think 2 favorite. Am I allowed to? One is when Richard Armitage as Harry finally asks Dawn to marry him. Yeah. And she thinks this is her being asked to just do a job that she does as the vicar. And okay, she won't get the guy, but she'll go to the diary and find out when she can fit the wedding in. And when she asks the name of the bride to fill in, he tells her it's her. And it's a joyful moment. And it's a joyful moment because Dawn does a couple of kind of noises that you've never heard a human being do before. Exactly, you're laughing, hooray. So that's one. The other one, I'm afraid, is also to do with weddings, is when Emma and Hugo get married, and suddenly in the middle, there are 2 wonderful jokes. One is that Alice manages to get one line ahead of the vicar in the wedding ceremony. So she's as it were, promising to do the various wedding vows before she's actually been asked to. And the other is, in the middle of this, at the back of the church, in comes a woman in red who says, "This cannot happen. This man is already married."
Yeah.
And there's a real sense of tension in the church. Hugo turns, looks, and she after a tiny beat, says, "Oh, sorry, wrong church." It's a wonderful joke, played very, very well.
So the thing about Dibley is it's timeless, isn't it? I mean, there's new audiences watching it all the time, isn't there?
I suppose the only difference is that the audience that saw it originally wasn't used to the idea of women vicars.
Yeah.
And actually, we did get, Dawn particularly got, but we got them as well, letters from people saying, could I have somebody like Dawn as the local vicar? Because, you know, she looks like she'd be perfect. And I think it had obviously there were people who didn't believe in the idea, but there were also people who thought, yeah, okay, this is okay. So maybe it was a show that did some good.
Now, what about the whole parish council meetings? We've seen this recently with the whole Jackie Weaver story and the Handforth council story erupting on Twitter. But you guys were doing this quite some time ago with Dibley, weren't you?
Exactly. Hello. Well, yes. The parish meetings, well, they were done in sometimes in the set and sometimes in the real parish hall. It was a joy because what Richard did, it's an interesting piece of comic construction. You establish each character having a sort of comedy, tick, or comedy thing that they do, and you get them to do it round and round the table, and obviously it drives the chairman of the local parish council completely mad, but they're all wonderful pieces of writing, and based very loosely on a small village in Oxfordshire, which I think had some of the same problems from time to time. I won't name it, but I think they're truthful as well as being very funny.
Now, I always remember some of the great lines that Roger Lloyd Pack came out with. A lot of them were quite inappropriate, but absolutely hilarious, weren't they?
Yes, it was interesting. When we started, we thought, oh, well, we're making a sort of, 8:30 sitcom. But partly because of some of the interest Owen knew it has in let's be honest, animals. The BBC decided no, it should only be available after 9 o'clock. Well, it was usually available at 9 o'clock, but. Yeah.
So the show has been so successful for so many years. The big question is, will there be any more?
It's tricky because quite a number of the parish councillors have sadly departed, and Emma is sadly departed, and Geraldine is now married. Yeah. So, we've had a few fantasies, but they are fantasies, and you'd have to kind of completely re-establish the show as something about a vicar who's married, unless you kill her husband off, and that would seem to be very cruel. So I think it will be a golden memory, certainly for those of us who worked on it, and hopefully for the viewers. I'm not sure it'll come back.
But of course, Dibley will be up there with all the great sitcoms, the likes of Only Fools and Horses, Fawlty Towers, Are You Being Served, Dad's Army, shows like that, won't it?
That's very kind. Thank you to put us in that bracket. But obviously, I agree.
So, John, I was thinking this morning as well, the sad thing is we may never see another great sitcom like this with such a great ensemble cast ever again, will we?
Well, circumstances were sort of on our side, and you don't always get, it's hard, and writing those sorts of shows requires a genius like Richard Curtis and a genius like Paul Mayhew Archer. It doesn't, they're hard to do, really. I would say they're harder to do than, dramas. Dramas kind of, to a certain extent, don't have that hidden thing of A, jokes, and B, characters who you want to be with. You know, it seems to me the great thing about Geraldine is you want to spend time with her. You want her to be your vicar.
Yeah.
And writing those sorts of characters is very hard. And those sorts of shows, and I speak as I was head of comedy at the BBC for a bit, they don't come along every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even every other day. Maybe every month. No, they don't. It's hard. We were very lucky to get the people we got.
Yeah.
And I think it was because of the quality of the script.
So there we go. If you want to relive some of the Vicar of Dibley memories, check out the Vicar of Dibley Inside Out on the Gold TV channel. Jon, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It's been great talking to you.
Thanks, Jon.
It's been a joy to talk to you.
Right, we're going to talk music now, and we're going to talk about the music of Ireland's first ever female country singer. We're talking about the late great Maisie McDaniel. She sadly passed away in 2008, but her music lives on. We're going to find out more because her daughter, the singer Lisa Stanley, joins us on the line. Lisa, how are you?
Hi, Lisa.
Hello, Robin and Pauline. Thanks for having me. Great to see you both.
Great to see you. As I was saying, tell you there as well, it's been too long. It's got to be about 10 years since we last saw you.
No, there's a few more wrinkles crept in since that, Robin.
We'll start off by talking about the music, your mother's music. And I know we've spoke about this before, but the great news is it's all been remastered and it's all available again, isn't it?
It is. It's just come out in the last couple of weeks again. And before this, it's only been available on the old vinyls. So you can imagine it goes back to, I think the very first one was 1959 when she recorded the Owl Pig Sty. And she was only very young, I think about 17 at that point. And then right through the 60s and into, I'd say about the mid-70s then, and then she sort of semi-retired for a bit. So all the music stretches through that period. And through, with the help of a good friend of mine, Shea Hennessy down in Dublin, it was all remastered and it's now all available for the first time on Spotify and iTunes and all those platforms. So it's brilliant.
Tell us about your mum, because she was the first female country singer in Ireland. I mean, she was never off RTE back in the day, wasn't she?
That's right, Robin. Yeah, back when RTE started first, I think around about 1961, 62. She was one of the first people on there, and she was on a show called Jamboree, which was all based around country music, and you had people like Rose Tyne and Dermot O'Brien, the late Dermot O'Brien as well. And so she was really a trailblazer back then. She used to wear all the country gear, and she was with the band called the Fendermen as well, touring all the dance halls and all that at that time. And then she was due to represent Ireland in the Eurovision in 1964, but she had a very serious car crash. Mm-hmm. So that laid her up for about 6 months, I think, in hospital in Navan. And they had to get Dickie Rock to stand in, and I'm sure Dickie did a great job of representing Ireland. So that sort of put me mum off the road for a little bit. And then she went to Manchester. She got married to my dad. They went to Manchester for a few years, and they came back then in the early 70s and started up another show called Hootenanny on RTE as well, and the Nashville Ramblers show band.
And she was the first female singer to have her own band as well, so I suppose that kind of paved the way for Philomena and people like that who would come along later.
It did, exactly right. And of course, Philomena is probably about 2 years younger than my mum would have been. But I think Philomena started a little bit later. Yeah, definitely. My mum had the best of time for Philomena, as everybody does. And she's still sounding great and looking fantastic.
And I'm sure she'll be delighted. She'll be watching over you and thinking, fantastic, you've still got my music out there. It's amazing.
I know she would, Pauline, definitely. She'd be over the moon about that. It's just brought her back into the public eye again. And I put a post up a couple of weeks ago when it came out on my social media, and I couldn't get over the response. I think I had like about 1,500 comments or something like that of people that remembered her and are still interested, you know. So it's wonderful, it really is.
So I suppose as well, you were always destined then to go into the music business yourself.
I suppose you could say that. Now, as a child, I was backstage at all the shows, and I probably didn't appreciate it as much as I should have done. I got to meet all the greats like Philomena Begley and Daniel O'Donnell when he started out and all that sort of thing. But I didn't appreciate it probably, and as a teenager, I probably didn't do it, and I thought, no, I'll do something else. But when I got to the age of about 18, I decided then, yeah, this is what I want to do. So I've been doing it ever since. So that's not today or yesterday.
And you released the album as well, In My Mother's Footsteps.
I did, and the very first studio album I did was the year after my mum passed away, so it would have been 2009, and it's called Lisa Stanley Sings the Hits of Maisie McDaniel. So I did a lot of her well-known hits, and some of them were duets as well with some of the well-known stars of Ireland. And it just went from there. Then I did 3 more studio albums, and I was involved in Spotlight TV for a long time with Phil Mack, and did various things like that, which led me to where I am today.
So what have you been up to? Any new music in the pipeline, Lisa?
Oh, yes, definitely, Pauline. I'll have another single coming out around about the 26th of March. I've just had it mixed and mastered last week, and we're looking at doing a video, and it's an original song. The last 2 songs I've released have been original songs, which were written and co-written by me. Now this particular next one, it was written by a wonderful piano player called Ray McLaughlin, who played with Daniel O'Donnell for years and played with Lisa McHugh and various bands. But Ray sent me this song to have a listen to, and I thought, I love it. It's a little bit different to stuff I've done before. It's got more of I won't say a Disney type of sound to it, but it's sort of like a musical theatre type of thing, really, which is veering away from the country a little bit. But I just loved it, and I thought, you know what, I'll record that. So it's called Take My Hand and Say Goodbye, and it'll be out in a few weeks' time.
Brilliant. So what about lockdown? What's it been like for you, Lisa?
Well, I suppose for everybody it's been the same, really. It's just getting more creative, really, doing more cooking and gardening when the weather was better, and writing more stuff, really, writing songs, and just trying to get better on the piano as well. I've always been able to play a few chords and back myself, but I've been trying to practice more and get better on that. So using the time wisely and going for walks.
Yeah, well, we have been doing plenty of walks ourselves, haven't we?
Exactly, we have. Now, Lisa, your daughter is following you into the business as well, isn't she?
Yes, I'm delighted to say she is Sophia Stanley, and Sophia is 17, coming 18 this year. She's got 2 songs out, and she's got 1 more coming out on the 19th of March, all written by herself and produced as well, because you know what kids are like these days. They can do it all in their bedrooms. They've got all this computers and software and everything else. So produced it all herself. The very first one she put out is a song called Angel, and it came out on my mum's anniversary, the anniversary of her death last June 28th. And the song was written all about a loved one, I suppose, passing on, and it's called Another Angel's Gone Home. So she wrote it about her grandmother, who was Maisie McDaniel, of course, and very special indeed. And there is a music video on YouTube for it as well. Check it out.
All right. Well, we'll get Sophia on the show in a couple of weeks' time and talk about her music as well. That'd be great to meet her as well. I'm going to finish by playing one of your songs now. We've got Nothing Else Matters. Tell us about this one.
Well, this one was co-written by myself and Eric Herbert and John Ryan. And it was written a couple of years ago at a songwriting week, an IMRO songwriting week. And it's a nice sort of a gentle song, I suppose, about a new romance and about all the feelings you'd have, the excitement of a new romance sort of thing. And it's called Nothing Else Matters.
Fabulous. Lisa, as always, it's been good to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Listen, guys, thanks so much for having me, Robin and Pauline. And I love the fire, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
From here.
See you, Lisa.
See you, Lisa. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Your kiss is so sweet. You know that I've waited for this. The taste of the raindrops on your lips. Let the man park the car. Don't worry, baby, we've made it this far. It's gonna be strong and wonderful, like you are. 'Cause right now, nothing else matters. I can feel it burning right down to the core. Right now, nothing else matters more. You're soft on my skin. So long I've wanted to let you in. I'll tell you a secret no one knows. I was in love before, but I couldn't let go, so unsure. And he didn't move me like you do. Love so pure. 'Cause right now, nothing else matters. I can feel it burning right down to the core. Right now, nothing else matters more. Imagine if we never met, or if we never kissed. Imagine this. Oh, but it don't matter now. Right now, nothing else matters. I can feel it burning right down to the core. Right now, nothing else matters more. Right now, nothing else matters. I can feel it burning right down to the core. Right now, nothing else matters more. Nothing matters more. Right now, nothing else matters. I can feel it burning right down to the core. Right now, nothing else matters more.
So that's nearly all we have time for on the big show this week. A big thank you to all of our guests. And to play us out, we're going to have a song that we've been playing like crazy in the office all week, haven't we?
Totally, it's brilliant.
It is brilliant. Some authentic folk punk. Yes, you did hear me right. They've been described as the Pogues meets the Clash. They're called Brophys Law. And this track is called The Bachelor. I think you're going to like it. See you back here same time next week. Bye-bye.
See you next time.
I left school at 16 to work on the factory floor. I worked alongside old men who have been there since the war. They taught me everything I knew. They taught me right from wrong. They pounded me right down my neck and sang me their old song. Hey! My education was a blaze of drinking nights and drinking days, getting drunk, falling down and sober thoughts of few. The atmosphere was pints of beer, whiskey jar and steel guitar. Raised a toast and sang a song and then another one. Hey! Set my life on the drinking chair, by the bar, by the pump, by the barrel. I met a girl one drunk at night by the name of Annie McCarroll. She took me on for what I was. She tried to change me something new. My way of life, my drinking ways, I wasn't right for you. Yes, you are so pretty, you'd make a lovely wife, but I'd rather be a bachelor and lead a drinking life. Yes, you are so pretty, you play the perfect marriage game. I'd rather be a bachelor and drink myself insane. Hey! So pretty, you'd make a lovely wife, but I'd rather be a bachelor and lead a drinking life. Yes, you are so pretty, you play the perfect marriage game. I'd rather be a bachelor and drink myself insane. I'd rather be a bachelor and drink myself insane.